let's talk a little bit about my website again, because I've actually done that last year and I haven't talked too much about it on my YouTube channel since. But there has been quite a bit of a change, both for the better and unfortunately for the worse as well. So I'm going to turn off this camera right now and have a look at my little website. So let's have a look at the home pages of the websites first. So this was about half a year ago when I started the website. You can see that it was quite a simple little home page over here. And now let's switch over to the home page that I have right now. And so as you can see, it's already quite a bit bigger, quite a bit of change. So with these two screenshots out, I'm going to move over to a screen video. Okay, so what we can see over here, this is the homepage. You have a little custom cursor made for the website, which actually changes when we go over parts that are not part of my website. I actually have some widgets here, for instance, from a friend over at NeoCities. They set up a pair of widgets that I could use without having to import scripts, which won't work on the free version of NeoCities. So this is for Status Cafe, which shows my current status, and this one is for Last.fm, which shows the music that I listen to on Kobit or sometimes Bandcamp as well. Right over here, this is an ad, but it's not an ad in the traditional sense for like a commercial website. This is actually for personal websites only. It's called Sidelink, and I used to have my own ad over there, but that's unfortunately broken for reasons that we'll get to a little bit later on. So we have all the buttons. Some of the old ones are here as well as some new ones. I actually ended up moving the guestbook to below this main section of the website over here. I've got a blog at the very bottom, and below there's the guestbook. Right here we can write in. These are called web rings, and I'm part of these three. This one, unfortunately, I'm still not a part of, Transing the Internet. But the free speech, the sovereign web, and the null web ring, yeah, they work pretty well. Here we have some 88 by 31 buttons, and some of those you can actually click and they lead to either pages on my website or shortcuts to other websites. Right over there is the copyright information, still as it always was. I've got my About Me page, to which I've actually added in this likes and dislikes section, as well as some extra pages. These used to be HTML5 buttons, however I ended up making these links that just look like buttons. So a lot of these pages have ended up pretty much the same. Of course, there's my amateur radio page though, which has an update because literally tomorrow at 9:20 I'm gonna have to be at the examination location for amateur radio. I've scheduled in Eindhoven. Here's that. I actually added in two entirely new pages. So these are some opinions that I have about some things that don't really fit anywhere else on the website. And here's another new page for me. This is upgrading to Linux Mint, with some instructions. I actually made some videos about that as well. I always have these checkboxes wherever there are YouTube videos that I can have a look at them, or you can turn them off so you don't get bothered with advertising cookies. So yeah, there's my little website. However, there are some things I still wanted to do. I have an old story from like an outdoor arts festival, which I'm going to put on here because I really like it and I just discovered it. I'm going to translate that. This is my little stories page. I have some stories over here. But also, if we go over here to my NS Feels Good page about my love for railways, and then we go into the photos page, some of these photos work out quite well, but 34 of them failed to load. and I'm going to talk about why the fuck that actually is. Okay, so what unfortunately happened was I kind of underestimated how much the free 1 gig of storage I get at NeoCities actually is. Because it's actually quite a bit. I used to use Catbox to store all my photos. Unfortunately, Catbox went down. I actually ended up storing my album art and my site link ad over there as well, which is why it didn't end up working around this time. The owners of Catbox.mo are apparently working on fixing the issue. They should have done it by mid-March, but it's about to become fucking April. And so, I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed in how slow Catbox.mo is at resolving these issues. Because I'm not the only one who has them. Who had photos randomly disappear from their website because of Catbox. I honestly say 99% of the time, you don't need it. I ended up doing the only alternative. I saw the 1 gigabyte not as a limit, but as an opportunity. If I could compress as many of these photos as I could, well, I could just throw them all right up on my NeoCities site without using a third-party provider. I initially intended to get these photos off Catbox and onto the NeoCities site. For some of the later photos, that worked fine. The newer photos aren't on Catbox anymore at all. I also was able to move all the album art from my computer directly. But I guess with all the train spot photos that I have, I'm going to do much of the same. I'm going to take them from my computer, compress them, and throw them on the NeoCities site. And hopefully that's going to allow me to restore the functionality of the photos page. As for the site link ad, I don't know what to do with that. But other than that, I can say that my website has been a lot of fun to work on. And if you really want a place on the web where you can express yourself without any corporate influence, honestly, your own website on a service like NeoCities is the best way to do so. Moving beyond this problem, there's also a bit of a difference between something like NeoCities and something like WordPress.com. I used to use WordPress.com for my website. No. The content management systems add a lot of overhead, which practically guarantees delays. So you just, and for what? Just a little bit of convenience? I mean, I was very much able to whip up basic HTML in a couple of weeks, months. And in addition, CMS systems like WordPress tend to have limited themes. Why? Well, just because that's how they work. They work by creating a framework into which you can place your text. Outside of business, this is useless. These also get very heavily SEO'd, or search engine optimized, in professional context. So a personal website that uses CMS won't appear at all unless you go look for its URL specifically. On NeoCities, on the other hand, there's kind of a central catalog of websites that you can visit. And those websites are written in raw HTML. That means that you can do whatever you want as long as it fits within the storage limitations, of course. And it should work. Should being the key word. Because there's one big disadvantage. Well, actually not that big of a disadvantage. HTML has a learning curve, but it is fun to go through. So I'm definitely going to keep working on this website with that already in mind alone. See you another time. Bye bye. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, please give a thumbs up and share this video with all your friends, and perhaps consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.